fear, he's a liar. He's a liar. He's a liar.
Hello, hello, hello. Can you guys hear me now? Let me see if I can give you guys a couple of seconds to go through here. You can tell that I'm not used to doing late night newscasts because stuff like this happens. So, let's see. You're on. Yep. Yes. All right. Cool. All right. That was just a little bit of a rookie mistake from me personally. Basically, I wasn't saying anything important. I was just saying we have some things that we're going to get into. Hopefully, I don't go too long, but you know how it is in the newscast. I tend to go a little bit too long than I usually intend to do, but we do have some things to get over. We're going to talk about Ground Zero that happened last Friday night. We will talk about Impact Slammiversary that happened last Sunday. We will talk about the announcement from WWE in concerns of the all-female pay-per-view event coming up called WWE Evolution in October. And we'll get to your questions and comments as always, and we'll see how that goes. But yes, I want to send some condolences out to the families and friends of wrestlers Brian Christopher, Nikolai Volkov, Brickhouse Brown, all three that passed away today at the same time. Not a very good best of days for pro wrestling today. I just wanted to make sure I send my condolences and well wishes to the family and friends of those that lost their lives today. I won't get into too much specifics to certain wrestlers and their deaths today. It's kind of not my place to do that here. But you know, I just want to say that, you know, as I always say when we lose a wrestler, let alone just anyone in general, you know, you want to cherish those moments you have with them because they can be gone the next day, and you may regret it for the rest of your life. So, you know, it's always good to just keep in touch with those. Myself, there are certain people that I haven't kept in touch with in a long time that I personally need to start keeping in touch with. But we just need to, I guess we need to be just more humane in that sense. Just keep in touch with those that we probably don't talk to as often as we would like. But anyways, rest in power, rest in peace to Brickhouse Brown and Nikolai Volkov and Brian Grandmaster Sexay Christopher. Hopefully they are finally able to rest truly in peace. But I wanted to get that out the way first before we did anything. So let's talk about it. I know a lot of people have been waiting for what I had to say about Ground Zero that happened this Friday night out on YouTube Live on the live stream. First things first, I want to appreciate everybody that did watch ACW Ground Zero. It is officially, that mega event is officially the biggest live stream in terms of viewers and consistent viewing that we have ever had since we've done live streaming for mega events here for ACW. Ground Zero broke all those records on Friday night, and I appreciate each and every single one of you that had a hand in that. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for simply coming over here to watch the mega event. It reached, I believe, the highest that it reached was 96 viewers. We almost got to 100 viewers. That would have been crazy to me. I wasn't even expecting 100 viewers. I was even fine with as much as I had in the beginning of the event, but for that to even reach almost 100 views, that's pretty cool. So my goal now, knowing that, is that we're going to try and go ahead to, for Animania 5, I want to get to 100 views or more. It doesn't have to be anything definite. It's not something that I'm forcing people to do. Nothing like that. But it would be pretty cool on the 10th anniversary of ACW, if you will, if we got like 100 views for Animania 5 coming up in December. I think that'd be a really cool moment for ACW in general and for all the fans, new and old, that have been with us for a long time. So, we're gonna see how that goes. But I want to thank everybody that watched Ground Zero live, and those that watched it afterwards the next day on the Mega Events channel on YouTube. I appreciate it. Obviously, our next mega event will be on the Impulse side. It'll be Impulse's last single branded mega event called No Boundaries. That's August 24th on Friday. And that will be headlined by Sasuke Uchiha defending the Impulse title against Zuko, the number one contender who won the gauntlet. So that will be happening. But other than that, let's kind of go match by match in order of what everything and how everything transpired. It was truly a very talked about mega event and a very controversial one at that. First things first, let's get to this. The XL Tag Team titles open. Actually, before we even get to that, Roger Smith opened the show with basically talking to the fans that were there in the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. Who, by the way, Newark, New Jersey, you guys are awesome all night, for the most part at least. You guys are awesome. You guys really were hot, if you will, as we call it. So you guys did a phenomenal job. Definitely will probably be back there for another mega event in the near future. But anyways, Roger Smith came out and he talked with the people there, and basically he was going to try to get Elric to sign one more contract with ACW before he leaves. It was found out later on that Edward Elric did not only not talk to Roger about the new contract, he kicked him out before he even got to even say anything, which has never happened with Roger Smith because he's a negotiator. That's his job. It's what he does. So it was a new thing for him to experience that. And that would not be the last we would hear from Roger Smith, obviously, but we will get to that in a minute. Anyway, our first match, the opening contest for Ground Zero. 2DK, the challengers coming in, taking on Night Raid, Wave, and Lubach, the XL Tag Team Champions for the titles. First things first, hot start. Just a great start, honestly, to Ground Zero. 2DK really showed out. They really proved that they really are a team that you may expect aren't as good as you guys think you are, but they can really hold their own. Personally, to me, I thought 2DK were close to winning those tag team titles. Because as I'll get to, Tatsumi comes out during, several minutes later after the match, comes in, takes out Diddy Kong, leaves Donkey Kong for Wave and Lubach and Wave to go after him. Wave hits the Grand Chariot for a second time, by the way. DK kicked out of one, but it was a second Grand Chariot that he kicked out of. Night Raid retained the titles. Now here's the interesting thing, though. Night Raid retained the XL Tag Team title. This is the first time that they retained them through direct interference. That's never really happened with Night Raid's title reign. So the fact that that happened, in my opinion, tells me that they were a little flustered that 2DK could have possibly walked out as the new tag team champions, and they had a game plan. And it looks like that was a game plan going throughout the entire night, because after the match, Night Raid would take out Diddy and Donkey Kong completely. They would wipe them out. Ezeth was on the stage watching the whole carnage go down. I guess you can say because of 2DK's defiance towards Night Raid, the several past episodes of XL, but I think there was more to that attack than what was led to the eye, and when we get close to the main event, we'll probably put it all together. But that's neither here nor there. Coming up next, I believe it was Roger Smith was going into the locker room, talking with Haru Glory. Haru Glory basically asked Roger, are you planning to screw Edward Elric out of the XL title match tonight? And Roger Smith denied it and asked Haru, are you ready to beat Edward Elric? Because if you don't, you will be looked at as one of the biggest failures in CAW and ACW history. So a lot of pressure was on Haru on this night, obviously. Second matchup of the night, it was the Three Sins of Death match. Aang, who was returning from last season's Ground Zero when he was sent to Hell by the very same opponent that he had in a Hell in a Cell match, no pun intended. Aang is having his first match back ever since that time, and he went one-on-one against Akuma once again at a Ground Zero, except instead of a Hell in a Cell, it was a Three Sins of Death match. A lot of people were surprised that this was the second match of the night. I understand that. But regardless of that, this is a war. This was a full-out war. This is, Aang and Akuma, they went at it. I believe even, Aang didn't even finish, playing to the crowd when he came into the ring. And the lights go out, the lights come back on. Akuma has a chair, knocks Aang's head off, and Aang is busted wide open. So what that says is that Aang bleeds, so automatically Akuma loses. Aang loses the first sin, which is first blood. So then that goes to the second sin, which was last man standing rules. Whoever gets to the count of 10 is the winner. And man, did Aang and Akuma tear it up. Aang and Akuma went at it, back and forth. Both men bloodied, fatigued, and tired. But that's the spoils of war. That is the consequences of war whenever you're in battle. So, ultimately, Aang was able to pull off a 1-1 tie, hitting 2 SOS kicks. Akuma still being defined by rising up. It took one Super Super Frankensteiner, gotta know the difference, and dropped Akuma on his neck almost for him to get the 10 count. So that way we go to the third sin of the match, which was basically I surrender rules or I quit rules, however you want to call them. And man, those two went at it back and forth like they were trying to get the other to truly submit. And it was a war. Aang showing his old self like he always has. Akuma was looking for a mission statement, and that was to put Aang in his place for good. Ultimately, at the end of the night, somehow, someway, Aang threw out every single moveset. He threw up another SOS kick. He threw an elbow drop from the turnbuckle to the outside Japanese announce table. He did the Airbender's Way a couple of times. He hit a triangle hold. And for the first time that I ever heard Akuma ever since ACW, Akuma said the words, I surrender. Now, granted, he was fading out, but basically he said, I surrender. And that was crazy to me because Akuma has been known to be an elite fighter, and those words have just never came out. But apparently Aang did too much for Akuma that Akuma had to actually say those words. And that's not only a defeat for a fighter like Akuma, that is a straight up an embarrassment. Not an embarrassment because he lost to Aang, but an embarrassment because he said those two words, which is what a fighter can never say unless it's the last resort. So, Aang finally gets his redemption. Aang finally gets his revenge. He defeats Akuma here at Ground Zero in the 3 Sins of Death match. What's next for Aang? I have no idea. Quite frankly, what's next for Akuma? Who knows? But at the end of the day, Aang stands tall and is victorious. And then afterwards, the next match would be for the Glamour X Championship. It was Juri Sanada's first title defense as she defended it one-on-one against Ino Yamanaka, the first ever Glamour X champion. Now, the way this all came about was Juri Sanada's coming off of the iconic Best of 7 series that she had with Reiko Hinomoto, the former champion, where she won it at match 6. Reiko currently right now is rehabbing her injuries while also taking some light scheduling outside of ACW, doing certain matches for various colleagues. You know which ones they are. But nonetheless, we wish her a speedy recovery regardless, and she'll be back in ACW at no time. But Juri was here. She's just coming off from that. Ino apparently wanted the first crack at Juri's title. And apparently used Akumi's position and power and influence to get this title shot, which upset Juri a lot, which I don't blame her for. So that means Deanne was barred from ringside, as a compromise to Juri. But if Juri lost the title here at Ground Zero, she could not invoke an automatic rematch clause. She couldn't do it. So Ino and Juri went at it, and I'm going to tell you something, and I repeated this kind of ad nauseum during this match. I get it, Ino is somebody that annoys a lot of people. Trust me, she annoys the shit out of me too. But, you know, it's as much as the way she won it with the roll-up with her foot on the ropes, I get all that. But Ino is a very talented wrestler that doesn't get the credit she really deserves. I think Ino is someone that knows her limitations. She knows what she can do in the ring. She knows her way around the ring, her way around the ring. Excuse me. It's late here. I'm just getting tired a little. And she knew that. So Ino knew where her strong points were and tried to hide her weak points. Juri Sanada was just once again too much. And when you're called a submission, you have a reputation to live up to. So it was a good back and forth battle between Ino and Juri, in my opinion. But ultimately, Jury was able to lock in the Spider's web. Ino was tapping. Jury Sonata in her first title defense retains the Glamour X Championship. So great stuff coming from Jury Sonata. Then we get to our co-main event, if you will. We get to our third title match of the evening. It was another title versus career situation. It was Sagat putting his career on the line, going one-on-one against Joe Agashi, putting up his television title on the line, a title that he's held ever since High Voltage of last season in that epic ladder match against Cloud Strife. This was your technical ground and pound, kind of striking based match that you would expect from two masters of Muay Thai. As everyone saw, Sagat's left knee was bandaged up, invisible formation during this match. So Joe Agashi really attacked that leg throughout the match, but somehow, someway, Sagat's power willed it. Joe Agashi has held that title for a long while. He was the longest reigning Cruiserweight champion in the company history. He is the longest reigning television champion in company history, which I believe was held previously by Edward Elric. I may be wrong on that, but I believe that was Edward Elric's record. And now, finally, someone defeats Joe Agashi and becomes the new television champion. Sagat is the new television champion. And a lot of people in Newark, a lot of people in the chat room blew it up entirely. They were happy to see that Joe Agashi finally got what was coming to him. A lot of people said it was for Ash Ketchum and Moroku, and I'm sure it probably was to an extent. But Sagat has finally won his first ever singles title here in ACW. And that's got to be saying something. So, where does Joe Agashi go from here? And where does Sagat go from here now as the new television champion? We will find out, but that remains to be seen. Before we get to the main event, I just want to speak on the fact that we did showcase the participants' revelation video for the upcoming Glamour X Element tournament that was going to happen on Monday, October 1st. The 32 participants were revealed. If you have not seen that video, it is on the main YouTube channel. Go ahead and check it out if you haven't seen it. But there's a lot of preparations that are going to go into that. It's going to be a very great, it's going to be a very great special event for all parties involved. Speaking of which, we got a little bit of a camera shot in the crowd. Those that were in attendance were Lena Inverse. I was corrected. It's Lena Inverse. But Lena Inverse, Elena Miyazawa, and Cora were in attendance at Newark for Ground Zero. Those three will be a part of the Glamour X Element tournament. It's going to be a fun ride, guys. And the next big event for the Glamour X Element tournament will be the showcase event. So basically, after I believe Excel number 89, I think that's what it is. After Excel 89, we're going to be doing another live edition of Excel that night. And immediately following that, we're going to be doing the showcase video that will showcase all 32 of the participants live at that Excel. And we'll check their stats, and we'll check their origin. We'll check what their purpose is. We'll do all of that. So it'll be a little bit of a fun event. So place your bets now. I know people want to know, well, what's the bracket looking like? What matches are going to be considered for the tournament? We're not there yet. You'll have to find out till September for the whole bracketology special event that we'll be doing there. But we're getting close, folks. So make your picks now. Pick your waifus, I guess, if you will. But that is what's going to go down for the Element tournament. But then we ultimately get to what this event, and I'm not trying to disrespect any match. I'm not trying to disrespect any of the other performers, because they put in their hard work, and each match had a purpose and importance to it. So don't act like I'm discrediting them at all. But this match right here, this is what this mega event was all about. This match was about the future of this Excel brand. Um, and this ultimately was about two different philosophies in, to my opinion, one of the greatest rivalries in ACW history. Um, um, okay. I'm trying to be cordial here. I don't want to get too mad. So, the chants of MVP were ringing throughout the arena. Hell, they were ringing before we even went live for Ground Zero on Friday night. The New York crowd were hot. It was clearly a pro Elric crowd. I'm not going to deny that. Um, so Edward Elric comes out to new music, a music that you are all familiar with if you followed Elric's career. I stated during that match that supposedly Edward Elric paid out of his pocket to have that song play on his final night in ACW. So there's that. Edward Elric came down, walked down to the ramp for the final time. That crowd were just chanting, "Please don't go," and it felt like an Animania crowd. It felt like an Animania match. It felt like Animania was coming early here in Newark rather than in Los Angeles. And you had to have been there live. You had to have been there live to experience that moment. To experience someone like that coming in the way that he did. And then you also had to be in that arena at the same time to experience how anti-Haru that crowd was. Because, man, when that Mercy Drive hit the PA system, that crowd ate him alive. Now, Haru Glory, he's not new to this at this point. He's been pressured like that before. He's used to that type of reaction towards him. So, as a professional, he's going to do the best that he can and not let things like that distract him. But I gotta be honest with you, I think that was one of the more toughest crowds that Haru has ever had to deal with, in my opinion. Even before the bell rung, there were chants of "You suck," and just booing the man mercilessly. So this for the Excel Championship. As you all recall, last season at Ground Zero, Haru and Elric met for the first time. Haru became the victorious one. So it's a little bit of a callback to that. And that was even explained during the video package for this particular match, which I gotta be honest with you, that video package that I did was one of my favorite video packages that I've ever done. Gave me goosebumps while producing it and editing it. It was great stuff. But anyways, what a match. What a match. There was a lot of close near falls. There was a lot of just moves, big moves. There was a lot of finishers that both men did. They even copied each other's finishers. A lot of counters. This was a main event. A lot of people just say main event to apply certain matches that end in a mega event. But this is what a main event is supposed to be. A main event that is supposed to emotionally grab you to whether they ask you if you believe or not at this point. But that's what happened. And then Tatsumi comes out because he's been around all night. He took out Diddy Kong. He took out Ichigo backstage. He comes out to the ring. And I guess Elric was prepared because he had a chair right there waiting for him. Clobbers Tatsumi with the chair. Lubak comes out. Elric takes him out with a chair. Wave comes out, and Elric hits him with a chair. And it's like divine. It's like the stars were aligning that night. And I want to make something clear right now, because I know a lot of you people are going to try to do this, and I'm going to stop you right now. I had no recollection, I had no involvement, and I had no business involved in what happened at Ground Zero. Period. I was just as shocked as you were. Just because I was defending Roger Smith and Haru Glory doesn't mean I approved, or doesn't mean I was involved with that action. I was not. Period. So as Elric takes out Night Raid with the chair, speaking of which, Roger Smith comes out, pulls out Brass Knucks, Brass Knuckles, and nails Elric square in the face. I couldn't believe that. As the general manager, you're supposed to have some level of transparency and objectivity with the job. And Roger Smith, on the Excels leading up to Ground Zero, hell, even at Ground Zero when he opened the show and addressed Haru beforehand, he said that he would not involve himself in the main event, that he will be rooting for whoever wins ultimately, even if he disagrees with Elric and the way he's handling it, and that it's not for him to decide. And here he comes, pulls down Elric, pulls out Brass Knuckles, and clobbers him. I don't know what to say. I'm stunned. I am disappointed. I'm angry. I'm besides myself that Roger Smith, whose primary profession, not as general manager, but he's a negotiator, he's there to resolve and find a compromise between both parties. He took it in his hands and clearly became unobjective. He became subjective. And he did that to Elric, to where Haru was down during that whole scuffle. Comes back, hits another Rave of Destiny. I think he hit like 3. And somehow, someway, that little bastard kicked out of that. And it took one mistake for Elric to capitalize with a third alchemy of his own. 1, 2, 3. Edward Elric, who was a free agent as of Saturday, July 28th, in the morning of midnight, became the XL champion. I know that this was a moment for a lot of you people. I know that a lot of you were happy that Elric finally won the big one. That Elric finally became the XL champion. That Elric finally did what he said he was going to do and show all the doubters wrong. That you guys stuck by him and you chanted, you deserved it at MVP. That's all well and good, I guess. As an owner and the founder, by the way, of Anime Championship Wrestling, I am embarrassed. I am disgusted. And I am sickened that Edward Elric, who was given multiple opportunities from this company to where he became a two-time television champion, mind you. He became the first ever Road to Destiny briefcase holder. Became this season's 2017 King of Elite. Main evented. Let me calm down, but main evented in Animania. Something that a lot of people can't say. And yet because he has a disagreement with Roger Smith or Haru Glory or even myself, he feels the right thing to do is not only resign with ACW, but declare that he's going to take the XL Championship from this company as a free agent. Let me tell you something. Now that Ground Zero's over, now that I don't have to really hold back, let me tell you something. Because I saw that Edward Elric had some things he wanted to say earlier in the morning. Okay? No, he said, "Oh, well, Hakeem, look at my family. That's why I did what I had to do." You know something, Edward Elric? Just because you did something that was professionally inexcusable doesn't mean you have to use your family as a crutch. And I said it. Listen to me, Edward Elric. You have been a great talent, an extraordinary talent for ACW and other colleagues. I have respected your talent. I've respected your career. I've respected what you've done for ACW, let alone what you've done for anime in general. I respected it. And this is how you repay me. I don't expect you to agree with Roger Smith a lot. That's fine. I don't expect you to agree with Haru Glory. That's your prerogative. But to come after me and this league that has given you multiple chances, and then to show up on Facebook earlier this morning and try to call me out. You know what? Fuck you, man. That's how I feel. That's how I feel right now. Fuck you, Edward Elric. I'm disgusted that you felt the need to embarrass this league that gave you everything that you wanted, or at least gave you the opportunities and chances to succeed, unlike a lot of people that have gotten neither of them. I don't respect you for thinking that you're some sort of messiah, that you have to verbally attack somebody's character in order to get a reaction, let alone for people to give a fuck about you. I don't respect the fact that you weren't even original, that you had to copy CM Punk because Punk himself didn't have the gall to stick around and get a goddamn good payday and want to do a fantasy dream of his to where he looked like a bitch 2 fights in. I'm sorry that, you feel that ACW doesn't respect their talents because, quite frankly, Edward Elric, the simple fact is that without those chances, you weren't probably sniffing the XL Championship title contention. You didn't do it for the Impulse side of things. That's something that you also forgot too. You got your chances on Impulse too, but I guess we're ignoring those, I guess. The hypocrisy, listen, it's so funny that you guys are so funny and so dishonest. Not all of you, but some of you are. Because if you guys are running a call league and an employee is being defiant and is verbally and publicly disowning you and discrediting you and embarrassing you, that's okay with you, right? That's just A-okay with you. That's good for you, right? You guys are following somebody that didn't do it for you. Don't you understand that? Don't you get it? Edward Elric didn't do this for you. Alright? Call it a spade. A spade. He did it for himself. And I wish Edward Elric had the balls to at least tell his fans that he was doing this for him, rather than saying that he's doing it for the voices of the voiceless. Doing it for those that were quote-unquote blackballed. Doing it for those that were ignored. Doing it for those that were discarded. Who is he fooling? Did anyone ask Edward Elric to prove it? No one asked Edward Elric to prove these accusations and these statements. No one proved it. No one asked Elric to prove it. They just went along with it because it's Edward Elric, huh? That's how it feels, right? And for Edward Elric to come after me, let me tell you something, Edward. Okay? Let me tell you something. You weren't part of the 6 pillars for a reason. Right? The 6 pillars, right? Haru Glory, Moroku the Monk, Aang, Gaara, Naruto Uzumaki, Gohan. The 6 pillars of ACW that built this league to what it is today. And you're mad because you were never one of those pillars. You're mad because those 6 elite talents were what they were, and you were what they were. I never disrespected your career. I never disrespected your skills. I never disrespected your talent. I never disrespected your influence, your impact, or legacy. But yet you feel the need to disrespect ACW and this company and myself when I was the one that gave you the chances, huh? That gave you the chances. You should thank me, quite frankly. Let alone Roger Smith and Haru Glory. And I don't agree with what Roger did at Ground Zero. I don't. So let's get that out of the way too. I don't condone and I don't support what Roger Smith did. And let me just make this a breaking news since we're going to there at this point. Roger Smith will be opening Excel 87 this Wednesday. So every question that you have for Roger Smith will be answered at the start of the show. Okay? So Roger Smith will be opening the show on Excel number 87 this Wednesday night. So don't worry about that. So you talk up with him on that. I'm speaking for me personally. Okay? Right? Well, what does it say to you, Edward Elric? You know? Roy, Shulk, Takoya Kambara, Soma Yukihara, Hibiki and Kazuki. Huh? Even Night Ray to an extent. King JJ. All these new faces in ACW, all these new and younger faces of ACW. What does that say to them that you're going ahead and let's be honest, tucking your tail and cupping your balls and leaving the door here in ACW? That's my point. That's my prerogative. Elric, if you want to speak to me, don't be a bitch and post it on Facebook to get some sort of fake sympathy from people that are just following you rather than asking what you really are up to. They're just going to follow every word that you say because they can't think for themselves. Sorry if the truth hurts, but that's what it is at this point. Don't be a bitch and post it on Facebook. If you want to talk to me, you be a man and you talk to me face to face, or at the very least, you can PM me, you can text me privately if you want to talk to me personally. Okay? I'm a part of no conspiracy. I can't speak for Haru Glory, I can't speak for Night Ray, I can't speak for Esdeath, Roger Smith, Ikumi, I can't speak for them. That's a question you have to ask them. But I can tell you personally, I am not a part of this conspiracy. At all. But Edward Elric, for what you did to ACW, what you did to the Excel brand, and what you pretty much did for CAW, because now you've given a path for other superstars and other colleagues, even in ACW, to now use this as an excuse to say, oh, well, you better do this. The inmates should never, ever run the asylum. That's never been how business works in pro wrestling. Otherwise, each and every federation, league, company, promotion would be dead. And everyone knows that. TNA almost died because of it. WCW and ECW did die because of it. So don't stand to me and call hypocrisy on me. Don't stand to me and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't stand to me and tell me that I shouldn't feel a certain way. For one of the most grandest prizes in CAW, let alone ACW, is now out of our hands to where we gotta formulate another plan. We gotta formulate how we're gonna be able to deal with Excel now that there's no Excel Championship. God damn it! So fuck you, Elric. I don't respect you for that. You can go ahead and call yourself the Excel champion. To me, I don't recognize you as an Excel champion. And I'm probably not the only one. So, go ahead and do what you feel like you want to do. Go ahead and do that. I don't really care at this point. ACW will continue on without you. ACW will continue to be successful without you. ACW will continue to be there for their fans that you deserted, by the way, asshole. ACW will continue to have the men and women that want to be there, that don't want to take their ball and go home, that do see ACW as one of, if not the elite leagues in CAW still today. They want to go there and still put their bodies on the line and still want to reach to the top rather than bitch and moan about it. I use this excuse for a couple of weeks and days now. Sagat had his career on the line, but did you hear Sagat bitching? Did you hear Sagat saying it's not fair? Did you hear Sagat saying that he's this and that he's trying to insult Joe Wagashi's character, unless Joe Wagashi did it first? No, he didn't. What he did was he saw the situation, he went to ground zero, put everything he had, and guess what? Not only did he save his career, but he's the new television champion. Instead of Edward Elric whining and bitching and complaining, saying that this is not fair, that there's a conspiracy, that this is this, and Hakeem's this, and Roger's that, and then he goes ahead and wins the title and leaves, and now wants to talk shit. And that's the person you want to support? That's the person that you want to go behind? That's the person that you want to roll with? Get the fuck out of here. Fucking wake up. So, with that said, that was Ground Zero. Yeah, that was Ground Zero. One of the more controversial mega events of all time. Where does ACW Excel go from here? I don't know. We'll have to find out on Wednesday. Like I said, we're going to have a Falls Count Anywhere match between Rock Lee and Choji Akamichi after what happened at the I'm so mad right now. With the direct episode earlier that week. So they will have their Falls Count Anywhere match on Wednesday. And Roger Smith will open the show. I have confirmation basically from the man himself that he will open the show on Excel 87 this upcoming Wednesday. So you probably do not want to miss that. And for the record, I tried to talk with Haru after the show. He left before I could even say anything. So I don't know what happened to him, and I don't know what he did. So there's Ground Zero. Probably the. I think I can confidently say. I think I can confidently say that it was the best Ground Zero in company history. Arguably one of, if not the best, Excel branded mega event of all time. And I even heard people say it was one of the best mega events of all time, period. So take that for what you will. But if you didn't get to see Ground Zero on Friday night, it is available on the Mega Events channel, our second channel on YouTube. It is available there, so if you want to go ahead and check it out, go ahead and check it out. It was a fun show despite that ending. It was still a fun show. New York was awesome for the most part as well. So we will see how that goes from this point forward. I don't know what to say. All I know is that, well, I don't want to make any sudden I don't want to make any sudden statements, but we'll find out. We'll find out what happens come Wednesday. I'm sure a lot of things will happen on Wednesday. Yeah. So, that was Ground Zero. Check it out on the Mega Events channel. Now, we're going to just do a little quick rundown because it happened last Sunday, so, you know, kind of late to talk about it. But, let's go ahead and talk about Slammiversary, which happened last Sunday night from Impact Wrestling, from the Rebel Complex in Toronto, Canada. Yeah, folks, for those that have been reading all the reviews about it, they're true. This is a great show. It was, and I agree with the people that have been saying it. It is one of the best North American pay-per-views of the year. Easily top 5, if not top 3. So, we're just gonna do a little quick rundown of Slammiversary. I'll just talk about what I liked and didn't like. First, let's just get the bat out the way. First things first. Impact has got to work on their production issues in terms of live events. There were some production delays and issues during like the little over first hour of the show, so they need to fix that to really tighten up. But also, what I would say also is that they need to also do better with time management, because certain matches went on too long to where the main event, although I love the main event, Aries, you can tell, didn't have enough time to celebrate his title win and pretty much went to the stage as soon as he beat Moose for it. So they got to do better with that in terms of time management. And what was the other thing too? Honestly, there's not a lot of bad to talk about. There's not a lot of bad to talk about with the show. I love the show. I think Impact Wrestling is back. I think Impact Wrestling is cool again, personally. I think the LOL TNA memes are dead, officially, as of last Sunday. And if you're still doing that, then I find you lame and corny and somebody that isn't a true wrestling fan in that essence. So, yeah. I think TNA hit a home run. Sami Callihan versus Pentagon Jr. match of the night. A match of the year contender, personally, to me. If we're going there. It was a bloody match. It was like a bloodbath. It was some deathmatch shit, honestly. Sami Callihan being a heel like heels are supposed to be. He's supposed to disgust you. And yeah, I was disgusted by the snot and spit coming out from him. But I got him. I mean, he was supposed to get you to hate him, guys. That's what good heels do. Not none of these bullshit heels in WWE per se that you guys gas up to think that they're great heels. They're not. When you can get a crowd to completely boo Sammy and chant "fuck you, Sammy" to him, then yeah, he's a pretty damn good heel. Pentagon Jr. is one of the rising stars of professional wrestling, period. I've heard a lot of people call him like the Mexican Stone Cold, and I can definitely see it. The dude is just really charismatic, and he really puts passion into every move, every strike, every sequence. The man's good. But yeah, my match of the night, everything from a storytelling aspect and from a match aspect clicked with me. And apparently this feud's going to continue now for the next several weeks on Impact, so I'm looking forward to it. Also, the LAX Civil War match, another match I loved. Man, Hernandez and Homicide, they just remind you why they were so good back then. The fact that they can still be that cohesive and have that chemistry together to where that they are keeping up with the new breed of LAX and Santana and Ortiz. Those four went at it. Those four really tore the house down. And I thought, man, Sammy and Pentagon have to follow that match. And they absolutely did at the end of the day. But man, the LAX match was just great. It told stories too. LAX retained the titles, and yet they don't stand tall. The OGs defeat them and beat them down and steal their titles and spray paint it. I love it. You don't see this type of like realistic storytelling. You don't see this type of raw emotion from wrestling these days. Look, I don't mean to be the anti-work rate guy, because I'm not anti-work rate. I can enjoy a great match just like anybody else. But there has to be a purpose behind those matches. There has to be a reason why I have to care about these two people wrestling, or two teams wrestling. Why should I care about these teams? What's the story about? And where is it going to go from here? So, another solid match. The main event, as I just referenced earlier, Aries and Moose. Man, I had to feel bad for Aries and Moose because they looked at the LAX match and then Sami Callihan and Pentagon Jr. and they're like, man, we have to follow those two. And while it was a step below those two matches, it was still a great main event in my opinion. Moose showed out. Moose arguably had his best match with Austin Aries at Slammiversary. Austin Aries showing why he's one of the best wrestlers going today. I think him coming back to Impact has rejuvenated his love and his passion back to professional wrestling. He's really become the franchise piece, the franchise player of Impact Wrestling as of late, and I really do enjoy that. What else? I thought Tessa Blanchard and Allie was a solid women's match. Probably one of the better women's matches of the year, if you want to be frank about it. I think those two were really good, especially Tessa Blanchard. She's a star in the making. Now, she signed a long-term deal with Impact, so she's going to be there for a while. I have my suspicions that as soon as WWE calls her up, she'll be good as gone because, and mark my words, you can quote me on this. Now, Tessa has been reported throughout her indie life, her indie career, as having a bad attitude, some attitude issues with people backstage and all that. So my theory is that she's using Impact to repair and rehabilitate her image, so that way if WWE wants to give her a second chance, she'll take it. So that's probably where that's going. But until then, I think Tessa is going to be a future Knockouts champion. It's just a matter of when, not if. I thought Su Yung and Masserein, even though it was the weakest match of the card, I still thought that Su Young's character was intriguing enough to where you were just in tuned throughout that entire match, as short as it was. And putting Madison in the coffin was perfect. There have been reports and rumors that Madison Rayne is going to be competing in the Mae Young Classic, the Mae Young Classic, and she'll be announced probably next week or so. So writing her off here was probably the best idea they could do. So yeah, Su Young's. Here's my thing. I think Su Yung should hold that title until Rosemary is healthy enough to come back from her injury, and then beat her for that title. That way, Rosemary holds it for a second time, and then Tessa beats her to finally become the Knockouts champion. But right now, I'm liking the Knockouts division. It's really good right now. Yeah. Other than that, I thought everything was good. I thought Don Callis and Josh Matthews, especially, were very good in commentary. I think if you think about it, if we're comparing all the companies, I think you can make a case that Don Callis and Josh Matthews are the best commentary team right now going today in wrestling, from a Western standpoint, I guess. I think you can make the argument, and that's weird because man, Josh was awful last year. Man, he was awful last year, trying to be the heel Michael Cole on Impact, just his annoying voice, trying to mock him, having to do commentary with an unmotivated, clearly not giving a fuck Jeremy Borash, because he knew that he had an NXT job as soon as he wanted to quit, so he couldn't give a shit. But Josh Matthews has stepped up. He's done the Twitch events. He's been doing the Twitch in real life streams, which have really made me respect him a little bit more. So they did a great job. Bound for Glory will be coming to New York City in October. That news shocked the hell out of me because I thought they would just be back in Canada. And quite frankly, I wouldn't blame them because, man, this crowd in Toronto at Slammiversary were awesome. Instead of chanting for TNA, a brand that is dead and buried at this point, they chanted Impact Wrestling. And that was awesome to hear. So for Bound for Glory, they're going to be in New York. It's going to be a very interesting next couple of months, because Ring of Honor and New Japan are going to be doing their joint show in the Garden. I think next year WWE will be doing WrestleMania there. TNA and sorry, not TNA, but Impact Wrestling will be having Bound for Glory there in October. So that's pretty cool. So a lot of people that are in the New York or eastern side of America, or a little bit near the eastern side of Canada, might want to check that out. But overall, if I had to give it a grade, it gets an A for me. Slammiversary was an A show. I think it brought back Impact Wrestling to the forefront. I think it's cool to like Impact Wrestling again. I think it's cool to watch Impact again. And I think this current regime of Don Callis and Scott D'Amore and Ed Nordholm this trio, they know business. They know that they're gonna let the wrestlers do the wrestling. They're gonna let the wrestling people do the business at hand at that end, and let the business people do the business at the end of the day, and run it like a company rather than a vanity project or a retirement home. So we'll we'll see where it goes. But yeah, that was Slammiversary. I'll be following Impact for a while. I'll be following Impact. I've been following Impact for a minute, anyways, even during the dark times. Although I kind of tuned out at the end of 2016 because, man, I thought it was dying. But it's back. It's back, and I recommend people to to drop the LOL TNA shit because let's be honest, everybody in the oh my god, I can't speak today. Everybody in management during that LOL TNA time, they're all gone. Dixie gone. Russo gone. Jarrett gone. Hogan gone. Bishop gone. Gaborik gone. Corgan gone. This is an entirely different regime, and it's an entirely different company. So the LOL TNA stuff has got to stop, or else you just look retarded doing it at this point. I mean, I got to call a spade a spade. But yeah, I'm enjoying Impact Wrestling. I think Impact Wrestling has been a better company. It's been a better wrestling show and company to me than WWE all year this year, bar none. Period. I thought Slammiversary was better than any WWE pay-per-view that's come out this year. Maybe the exception would be the Royal Rumble, but that's the Royal Rumble. I thought Slammiversary was even a little bit better than WrestleMania in retrospect. So we'll see. SummerSlam is coming, so they have a lot to fill. But speaking of WWE, I mean, we had to get to this, did we? So it was announced around Saturday or Sunday that Stephanie McMahon was going to make a historic announcement on Raw, and a lot of people probably figured that it was going to be the women's tag team titles that were rumored a lot heavily, or just an all-women pay-per-view. Well, Stephanie came out and pretty much announced that we are going to finally be getting an all-female pay-per-view called WWE Evolution, which will be happening in October. So that'll be interesting. I believe that was also reported that the Mae Young Classic Finals will be held at that pay-per-view as well. So my thoughts, well, my thoughts are this. Let me get this out the way first. I'm happy that the women wrestlers in WWE are finally getting a pay-per-view to where they can showcase on their own how far they've come from the Diva era days, although there was a lot of good and bad that came from the Divas era in my opinion, but I'm glad that they finally did give them that. It was well deserved. It was long overdue. It was just the next natural step. So by no means am I trying to shit on the women performers there that deserve that honor, that deserve that. Having said that, I'm trying to put this very objectively, because let's call this what this is. This was a PR ploy for the WWE to maximize profit by disingenuously trying to care about women empowerment in the WWE. I believe that. Having said that, it was a smart business decision. And there's nothing wrong in business by making a profit. And if that's what you have to do to make profit, then so be it. So it's not like the WWE are doing anything illegal. But I'm sorry, like I don't need to, I haven't even watched Raw, or at least the full Raw, in forever, really. But I don't need to hear for the 3 hours. I don't need to hear for 3 hours Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and whoever else, Jonathan Coachman or whoever, plugging this pay-per-view every goddamn time. We know it's a women's pay-per-view event. Cool. Stop shoving it down our throat before we get tired of it if we're not already. You know, the whole putting all the women in front of the men and all that shit, it just comes off so forced. It comes off so disingenuous. It comes off as a PR grab because Stephanie McMahon believes that philanthropy is the next step in marketing. Charity is the next form of marketing. And that's clearly what this is. The fact that Evolution is being held in October during breast cancer month. I mean, come on, this shit writes itself. How are people not seeing what the true intentions of this pay-per-view are? I'm not trying to shit on the pay-per-view in the sense that these women deserve this honor and that this pay-per-view should be a statement that women's wrestling is on the rise, and rightfully so. But damn it, man. Could you be any more fake with how much you want to put so much stock into your female wrestlers? The fact that you're trying to scoop the Mae Young Classic and this pay-per-view all in October during breast cancer, but it's just come on, man. You find people to really believe that, and if I don't believe that, I'm somehow misogynistic and sexist? Really? Are we that naive to really just say stupid shit like that now? Well, I know we are, but I'm just asking it rhetorically. But I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it every Raw. I don't want to hear it every SmackDown. I don't want to hear it every week leading to that pay-per-view. Because, as people pointed out when that announcement came, TNA already did that. And yes, I know people are going to be specific and say, well, it was really a one-night only pay-per-view. The fact of the matter is, they put on pay-per-view an all-females event. That's still... Hell, Evolution's not really a pay-per-view. It's going to be on the WWE Network, so what the fuck are you talking about? So, TNA did it. But here's the difference. TNA were the counterculture to what women's wrestling was in the mainstream eyes at that time. The whole diva aspect, if you will. TNA were the counterculture by bringing in the knockouts. And I'm going to say this right now, and you can disagree with me all you want. Without TNA's knockouts division, you don't get a women's evolution. Period. The knockouts deserve more credit than what they are given, but because it's WWE and there's a lot of sheep that will just defend everything this damn company does, they're just going to say, LOL TNA, they're broke. LOL TNA has no stars. As if that disproves any of the facts that anyone would say about this. You know? So, yeah. The Impact have done this before, but the difference was that Impact never shoved it down your throat. They just said, hey, look, we're showcasing some of the best of our women's wrestlers in the Knockouts division on pay-per-view. It's going to be an all-female event. Check it out. That's it. It wasn't a big deal, because it didn't need to be a big deal. We knew the Knockouts were legit. We knew that the Knockouts were for real. We didn't need all this extra pandering and virtual signaling and moral sensitivity. We didn't need all that. But now WWE's doing it to where they have been so behind the curve. Now they're just overdoing it to a complete 180. And it comes off forced. It comes off fake. It comes off as unreal. The fact that Stephanie McMahon had to be the one to announce it, when it's damn well known that Triple H was the one that was advocating for women to get more opportunities in the WWE. Now, granted, I'm not a lot like these WWE people, WWE fans that are just gonna, lick Triple H's ball sack because he does something good for the indie crowd or whatever have you. I don't think Triple H is as good as people think he's gonna be when he takes over, quote unquote. When he's really not gonna take over. It's gonna be Stephanie McMahon taking over. Triple H will just be there for the ride. He'll only be doing wrestling operations. Stephanie McMahon's gonna be actually running the business. Keep that in mind. But I'm sorry, man. Like, I don't want to hear all this nonsense about, women power and women empowerment and, and then let me just correct myself before a lot of you take that out of context and try to, smear me in a certain way. I mean in the sense that I don't want to hear it to the fact that, women's empowerment this and, that and this and that, in the sense that you're just trying to push a narrative that you may not even truly believe because you know that'll make you the most money. That's it. And this is another compromise because you did an all-male event for the Greatest Royal Rumble. So we know that too. But just be honest. I'd rather the WWE just be honest and say that than just pretend to think that we're stupid enough that they really mean what they say. That's all I'm saying. That's honestly all I'm saying. But yeah, so that's gonna be happening in October. We'll see where that goes. The Mae Young Classic Finals are gonna be happening there. Again, I think I know I've been joking about it throughout the week or weeks, but I think somebody in Stanford has been keeping tabs with ACW. Because think about it, I do the reveal of the participants of the Glamour X Element tournament. WWE starts announcing who's going to be involved in the Mae Young Classic so far. I start announcing that the Glamour X Element tournament is going to be in October 1st and will span all throughout the month of October. And here's WWE doing a all-female WWE pay-per-view. Like, come on, man. Like, you don't think I don't know? I'm kidding, guys. But, you know, I don't know, man. We'll see where we'll see where it goes. But I'm just not gonna like. I'm just not gonna like the build up. Is what I'm saying. I'm sure Ronda Rousey will probably win the title there. If not at the SummerSlam event, we'll probably win it at Evolution. I don't know, man. It's we'll see where it goes. I don't want to make any. Declarations, I guess. So, I think with that just said, alright, so we finally have reached the Q&A portion of the newscast. So, and by the way, I want to just say thank you all for joining this newscast today. I know it's later than usual, but this was literally the only time I could do it between now and Monday, because Monday I will be working, so I had to have done it today, or else it would have been saved all the way till Tuesday. And Tuesday would be the day before Excel, so I don't know if I would have that much time to do it, honestly. So here you go. If you guys have any questions that you guys want to put out, now's the time to do it on the live stream, on the chat room, and I will go ahead and answer them to the best of my abilities. So I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to catch up and see what's going on here. Let's see, the Glamour X division in ACW is getting more hype than WWE's crap. That's honestly arguable. Yeah, guys, the Glamour X Element tournament is going to be fun. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a tournament like you've never really experienced. It's going to be something pretty cool for ACW and quite honestly CAW. I see Lone Star's already put up round 1, match 1 of the SCAW tournament. I'll check that out probably after the newscast. Looks like it's Hellboy versus Homer Simpson, so I will definitely check that out. By the way, if I don't answer your question, just keep repeating on the chat until I eventually do. So, nothing personal. What is your goal of ACW in the following year? I guess my goal is to continue having fun with ACW and just growing the ACW brand and other programming into something bigger. And I actually do have plans to grow in ACW personally that I will talk about and I will get into a little bit more when the time is right. But that would be my plan. I'm going to want to grow ACW a little bit more, in my opinion. Let's see here. Alright, let's get to it. Edward Elric, if he gets booked in other leagues, how would you react? It depends on the league, and it depends on how it was done. Um, I don't recognize Elric as the XL champion. I'm sorry, I don't. So if he wants to defend a de facto non-sanctioned ACW title at this point, go ahead. But it doesn't mean anything to me. Um, just in case Roger Smith does get axed, who would you replace as XL GM? I don't know. I haven't thought that ahead. I didn't think Roger Smith would do this. Some of you probably did. That's fine. I just didn't. But now that he has, I don't know what the future Roger Smith is. Again, he will. For those that have just joined in, Roger Smith will be opening the show on Excel 87 this Wednesday night. So all the questions that you have about Roger Smith will probably be answered there. But yeah, we'll see. That's all I can really tell you. We'll see. Have you heard about the Teen Titans Season 6 rumor? Okay, I know a lot of people are kind of confused as to, well, why hasn't Hakeem talked about it? I mean, he had the Teen Titans in ACW during the early days. Guys, I understand that the whole video and what the whole background of it is because I was following it. But this could very well be a troll. That's why I haven't really been talking about it, because Teen Titans Go, if you don't really know much about it, Teen Titans Go likes to troll a lot of the old Teen Titans fans a lot in their episodes. So, just because you see that doesn't mean a sixth season really is going to happen. Now, if it does happen, if the sixth season does happen, then I'm all for it, obviously. I want to finally get an end to this series that we deserved like 10 years ago. So I'm with it. But I'm just being cautious, and I'm telling all of you that this could very well be a troll for something else. It could be just like a Teen Titans versus Teen Titans Go crossover special on Cartoon Network or something. I don't know yet. I'm just telling you that be very wary of this news. Just be very cautious until you get official confirmation, because this is all a rumor. That's all this is. But we'll see. Think you will borrow GWM's world champion for Excel since you have a working relationship with them? Yes, we still have a working relationship with GWM. They helped us with the Elite Tournament this season. As those that know, Payne Fox and Queen Elizabeth from GWM were announced as two participants in the Glamour X Element Tournament. So that's happening. We're still going to have the ACW GWM crossover special event that was taped months ago and will be aired during Animania 5 week. And more information on that will be said as we get closer. But yeah, we still have a working relationship, so anything is possible. I wonder if the ACW Board of Directors met about Ground Zero. I don't know that personally, but if I can just assume, I have to assume that they did, because this is a serious matter. One of our world titles is no longer on the Excel brand, and the guy that has it just left the company and said disparaging comments and did disrespectful things in order for that to happen. So I'm sure they had to have met, and I don't know the details about that, but I would have to assume that they did. Oh wow, I'm reading Edward Elric's latest post here on Facebook. Ha ha ha, Hakeem crying like a little bitch. Hey Hakeem, cry more. I'm still XL champion and you're still a little bitch trying to be Lone Star Black. You know, it's funny for a guy like this to say all this when he's the one that tucked his tail and left like a little bitch with the title that he ultimately didn't deserve. If we want to go there, Elric, we'll go there. And it's funny he's saying all this now, you know, when all he could have done was talk to me in private, but he feels like he wants to do things differently, so fine. You know, whatever happens is whatever happens at this point. Do you feel that 2DK got screwed at Ground Zero? I think they did. I think 2DK were close to becoming XL Tag Team Champions. I thought that they were a actual threat to Night Raid this time around, and they had Tatsumi interfere to retain the titles. That told me that they were scared a little bit. In my personal opinion, they were scared. I just finished watching Ground Zero again, Hakeem, and I come on here late and see you snapped like a twig about what happened in the main event. So how are you feeling right now? I'm feeling better. I'm feeling a little bit better. It could have been. I will be honest with you. I would have been way worse if we had done a newscast last night, because I would have been going off a lot. Like I would have been going off. It'd have been one of those Hakeem rants. But you know, kind of like 2 days later now, 48 hours later, you kind of just want to think about certain things and look at the situation, and you don't want to get too mad about it. But it's like it does make you mad because you didn't deserve it. I didn't deserve it, at least. But what can I tell you? I'm serious about this for a while. Someone needs to use the Gotch pile driver. That is a very underrated move, I will say that, though. The pile driver in general is an underrated move, and I know why some don't do it anymore. Concussion issues and all that, but, I mean, if you do it properly, you can still get away with the pile driver, so. Where does Haru Glory stand and excel now? I don't know. I mean, I tried, like I said earlier, I tried to talk with Haru after the show, and he left before I even got the chance to do it. So he probably was very hurt and very disappointed about the outcome of the main event at Ground Zero. I don't know where he stands. I don't know. I don't know where Haru Glory goes from here. I don't know. What's your worst WCW match in 1999 to 2001? Oh, man. Oh, what's the bad ones? Let's see here. My memory's a little fuzzy, so I mean, if I don't remember, I don't remember. But I don't want to say Finger Poke of Doom because that wasn't really a match. It was more of a segment, a dumb segment, an awful segment, but it wasn't really a match. Maybe the match where David Arquette won the world title. Nobody, not even Russo, can ever convince me that that was a good idea. So what? You got WCW on the front page of USA Today. Who gives a fuck? WWE was doing that constantly on Time and TV Guide and all those other magazines back in 2000, and they didn't even need to do stupid shit like that to do it. So what's his excuse? How do you think your team, the Denver Broncos, will do this season? I expect them to be better. I like that our O-line looks to be building up more towards the younger side of things because we are an old team defensively. I still feel like we need a legit quarterback. I don't like Osweiler. I don't trust Osweiler, but yeah, I don't know. I personally think we'll probably get second. I think the Cardinals will look to try to best us. I'm not buying the Raiders hype, at least not yet, with John Gruden now as the head coach. I'm not buying it yet until I see them actually play cohesively with the new team. And I'm not worried about the Chargers. The Chargers are trash. So we'll probably be second at best in our division, and we'll probably make playoff berth, but I don't see us going any further than that, unfortunately. Oh yeah, Lone Star really did post another SAW tournament, so I got something to watch today. How about that? So I can be watching those matches while I'm editing some ACW stuff. So, don't mention Arquette and Russo, you'll make Brian Zane scream. To be fair, I do like wrestling with regret. I do like Brian Zane's work on that front. His his moral grandstanding and virtual signaling I can do without. I just kind of ignore it and roll my eyes. But other than that, the dude's good at what he does. He's one of my channels that I follow pretty well. So I enjoy it. Are you going to Teen Titans Go to the movies? Probably not. And I'm not one of those people that hate Teen Titans Go like everybody else does. You know, it's like I did at some point, like for the beginning when it came out, I did. But it's like this is like utter nonsense and trash. But there comes a point where you do accept it for what it is, and just getting mad at it is just a waste of energy. It's like having your car parked, but you're breaking the gas pedal. It's like it's pointless and counterproductive. And sometimes Teen Titans Go is kind of funny, to be honest. So, having that said, yeah, probably not looking forward to that in the near future. Maybe I'll watch it on demand or something if I have a chance. Will you turn Gohan face in the future? That is up to Gohan. As everyone knows, Gohan is suspended from ACW this whole season. So, there will be no Gohan this season. But I mean, when you're trying to kill this company and take it over, I mean, what did you expect would happen? Are you also scouting for ACW? I was thinking of bringing my two favorite Bakugan Battle Brawlers characters to ACW. Well, I'm always scouting. I can never promise that those characters would ever be in ACW. I can just only tell you that I'll look into it, but it's got to be a right time, right place, right character thing. So who knows? But I'm not making promises. I never do when it comes to scouting for ACW talent. But there'll be new faces coming up. I will guarantee that. Will you be willing to at some point team up with another league like SCAW? I would like to partner with SCAW at some point. I would like to because, as I said before, me and ACW and SCAW, to me, I'll check that out. I haven't been able to get to check that out, but I will check it out tonight after the SCAW tournament matches. SCAW tournament's on now, apparently. We just had ACW Ground Zero this Friday, and just a lot of other stuff in between. So, if you're a fan of CAW, if you're a fan of virtual wrestling, right now is a pretty good time to jump on that board, man. It's a good time to right now be a part of CAW. It's a good time to be a part of the community. And quite frankly, this season of ACW has been the funnest I've had for a while, too. So, I'm more than willing to, help whenever I can. What's the likelihood of Haru Glory being fired on Excel? I don't know how he would be fired. I don't think Haru Glory did anything wrong. I didn't see him do anything wrong. He was just there to wrestle to retain the title. It wasn't him that was out of line, so I don't know how he would be fired. So was this your angriest moment in ACW history, or was there another time you was really angry about what happened within ACW? Are you talking real life or just like within ACW? Because within ACW, as much as Elric is a piece of shit for what he did, it doesn't compare. To me, it doesn't compare to what the JSA were trying to do last season. I was pissed because those guys were determined to kill ACW to where we couldn't celebrate a 10-year anniversary in the first place. So, as much as Elric did what he did, it was something I didn't approve. The JSA were far worse. They were far, far worse. Let's see. Which of the cartoons created by Butch Hartman would you put on your list from best to worst? What was it? I only watched 3, right? There's a Fairy Odd Parents, obviously. Nanny Phantom, obviously, and I think Tough Puppy was another one, but I didn't really follow it, so I guess Tough Puppy would be worst, just on that front. I gotta put Nanny Phantom first, because as much as I want to put Fairly Odd Parents there, it started to deteriorate. After Channel Chasers, the quality started to deteriorate. The baby coming in was unnecessary, but you still kind of gave it a chance. Once the dog came in, and especially when the girl came in, it was done. And now I was pretty much out at that point. Um, will we see somebody from Fairy Tail in ACW? Um, Despite what Edward Earp will say about that whole situation, we never blackballed anyone from Fairy Tail in ACW. It's just a matter of contract situations and contractual differences. That is it. That was all. So if they are willing to come in and be a part of ACW, that's more than fine. But it's not because of us. Let's put it that way. Did you see the new DC trailers? Titan, Shazam, and Aquaman. I saw the Aquaman one. I thought it was cool. Although they should have done the Aquaman movie before Justice League. Could have helped. Shazam, I'm kind of about it. And I like Shazam from SCW too. It's just the movie itself, I don't know yet. Titans looks awful though. I'm sorry. And I know people are giving the girl that's playing Starfire a lot of shit. And look, trolls are trolls. I'm not trying to condone their behavior, but you know what you're getting with internet trolls in today's day and age. You just have to either ignore it or just respond one time and keep it moving. Even if they are pretty pathetic and inexcusable in some ways, you just have to grow thick skin in that sense. And it's not your fault that they're saying it. It's just you got to be prepared for stuff like that. Unfortunately, but still, that Titans trailer was trash. The whole "fuck Batman" line was so cringe and so unedgy, and it was just so stupid. And people are saying, "Oh no, that's what was it? That's what Dick Grayson would say because he becomes Nightwing." That sounds like copping out to me. And I haven't been following the comics in a long time, but I'm not rolling with that, man. It just felt like every mid 2000s edgy teen show that you ever saw on the WB or something. So, let's see. It's crazy how different ACW Gohan is from Dragon Ball Gohan. Yeah, and a lot of people thought that the Gohan heel turn wouldn't work initially when I did it with Animania 2. A lot of people didn't think I could get away with Gohan being a heel, but I obviously proved those people wrong. Have you watched World Divine Ring Cauldron before? Lots of Glamour X potential from there. I'm aware of it, I just haven't watched it yet. Again, I already have, but I'm still, like right now, we're getting a lot of content from CAW these past few days and weeks, so I gotta still catch up with those shows that I follow, but I'll give it a look if it's something that's worth really watching. I think I'll give it a look. I think there's no problem with that. Where's Batman? Fuck Batman. Yeah, see, just that whole dialogue was so trash to me. It was just so awful. Seriously, I need to chat with you in person or in private just to get to know you. I just like talking to you a lot. Well, thank you. You know, I'm a very approachable guy. A lot of people that know me, or at least a lot of people that that try to get to know me, they think I'm very standoffish and a bit of an asshole. I'm really not. I'm really a chill, kind of cool. I'm really just like a chill, approachable guy. I'm only an asshole when people give me an excuse to be an asshole. Like if you're giving me an excuse to be an asshole, if you're trying to be an asshole to me, I have no problem out assholing you. So, because I will. So other than that, I'm a really cool dude. And I know you shouldn't just say that, but I try to have no problems with anybody unless they try to make it a problem. So there's that. Let's see. Sailor Senshi and ACW, other than Sailor V. Well, Sailor V was Sailor V, one part of the legendary Sailor Senshi, in the in the VWF NGW days of CAW. You had to at least have one of those represented in the Glamour X Element tournament. You had to have had one of the Sailor Senshi be a part of it. And I thought Sarah Venus would probably be the best pick out of those 5, in my opinion. Because, I just thought she would, personally. That Young Justice Season 3 trailer was great, though. Yeah, it was. I'm glad Young Justice is back, too. Man, a lot of these old shows are getting brought back, man. Invader Zim's back, and it looks beautiful. Young Justice is back. There's a Teen Titan rumor, although I'm not fully buying it yet. Hey Arnold came back a few months ago. Rocker's Modern Life is coming back by November, I heard. Just a lot of stuff that's going on right now. I'm digging it. Rugrats apparently is going to make a comeback this year, so it's going to be a nostalgic 90s fan. Let's put it that way. Let's see. Speaking of Senshi, did you see Sailor Moon R and Sailor Moon S movie? I saw it when I was a little kid. I have not seen them since, so my mind is fuzzy at that point. Why is Kankuro trying to be the Undertaker? Doesn't he know that there will be never one that can outdo him? I don't think Kankuro is trying to be the Undertaker. I think he's just trying to be his own kind of person, his own kind of entity, as much as a sick human being that he is. I think he's just trying to be his own person, and I think it works for him. He's the current Impulse Road to Destiny briefcase holder, so he has until now in Animania 5 in December to trade that off, and we're getting close to Animania 5 in 5 months, so he doesn't have much time left in the season. Kankuro is better than Bray Wyatt. I gotta say this too, Bray Wyatt, man, I don't know if it's just because of his personal problems as of late with the whole divorce and infidelity stuff, or just the company clearly doesn't invest in him anymore. But man, Bray Wyatt just doesn't give a shit anymore, man. You can just look at his face, you can just look at his expression, look at the way he's in the ring now. The spark that was once there is no longer there. Remember back in WrestleMania 30 when John Cena beat Bray Wyatt for no fucking reason? Remember all the WWE fanboys and marks were trying to forcefully tell you, you guys are overreacting. Bray didn't need to win at WrestleMania. Bray's push is fine. Bray will finally get out of that. Cena isn't gonna be there forever. He'll get over on him eventually. Remember all that bullshit? Exactly. Shut the fuck up sometimes, people. Hakeem, your thoughts on the cancellation of the Powerpuff Girls reboot? Good. They tried it. It was shit. Didn't work. Time to end it. And disappointing too, because it had potential, but when you don't have the original 3 voice actors who wanted to do the reboot for some reason were not called to do it, when you have a very fluid animation that is not all the way finished to where there's obvious animation errors, when you're pushing certain agendas within your episodes, when you're trying to add a 4th Powerpuff Girl just for some sort of stupid representation for whatever the hell kind of group there is to advocate, yeah, it's time to go. And yeah, it's time for the suffering to be over. Is public transportation very good in your area of the United States? Not really. I think, personally, to me, I think public transportation is very dated. It's very archaic. We're still using fucking trains. We're still using trains that have coal as their power source in 2018. Now, granted, I'm not one of these people that hear the idea of a high-speed train but knows that's going to cost a lot of money in my state, and me as a taxpayer that works is going to have to pay for that. I'm not those type of people that are just going to say I approve of that measure. I'm not. If we don't have the money for it, if we don't have the funds for it, I don't want it. Even if I do want it, I don't want it. But we got to do something about our transportation, man. The roads are getting shitty. The walls aren't as strong as they used to be. The levees are breaking. We gotta get people back to work in terms of building things. We used to be a nation that built things like buildings and transportation and environments, and we just don't do that anymore. I think we need to really get into that sort of aspect again. But who knows? I hope the Bullet Club beat up John Cena. I hope the Bullet Club ends. I'm sorry. I know that they're the most successful that they've ever been to date, but I'm so fucking done with the Bullet Club. I really am. And the fact that people are still using it in CAW leagues at this point, it's like, dude, it was still when AJ Styles was getting ready to leave for WWE. Imagine how stale it is now. And it's even worse now when colleagues still try to make their own version of the Bullet Club. It's cringe at this point, honestly. And yeah, I don't know, man. It's time to end the Bullet Club, man. Honestly, I think it's time. Just make Kenny Omega and the Bucks be the elites. If you want to bring Ibushi there too, that's fine. Let Cody, Hangman, and Squirrel do their own thing. Let Tama Tonga, Fale, and all them do their thing. Just split them up, man. It's just time, dude. It's just time. They ironically are starting to become the NWO. They were great at first, but now they're starting to become overbearing and are overstaying their welcome. So, yeah, it's time to go. And yeah, LIG and even Suzuki Gun are better at this point. So, wait, is 2016 Powerpuff Girls really getting canceled? I've heard reports that it is getting canceled by next year. So, a lot of cartoons are getting canceled from Cartoon Network coming up. Regular shows, and I think, and yeah, the Powerpuff Girls reboot is pretty much done. So a lot of new characters, a lot of new cartoons are going to be coming in to take those spots. Although I saw one trailer for Infinity Train, though, I am excited for that cartoon because I watched the pilot of that years ago, and I liked it, and I liked the concept. So I'm going to really be enjoying that. Bullet Club is NWO Light now. Bullet Club is running its course. I don't care for Bullet. Yeah, it's just. And here's the thing: I'm not a Bullet Club hater. I enjoyed it when Finn Balor or Prince Devitt back then. I enjoyed it when he ran it because it was an actual heel group. They were actually some cocky pieces of shit. Him and Fale and Tama Tonga and Carl Anderson. They were really like despicable heels that felt that they were superior above the New Japan culture and were trying to be counterculture to the tradition that New Japan always held to high regard. That's the Bullet Club that I liked the most, that I loved the most. Even when AJ came as the leader, I was still rolling with it. But even when AJ Styles was still there, and when Jarrett, however, came in to be a part of the Bullet Club, that's when I was starting to see the cracks form. And then Kenny Omega came in, and I like Kenny Omega. But then it's like, okay, now we're just replacing leaders just to replace them. And then Cody comes in. It's like, alright, enough. It's run its course. But it's whatever. Let's see. Alright, I'm gonna give you guys, I'll give you guys 5 more minutes and we'll call it a night here. Cause it's like 9, it's like 9:45 at my place. I'm sure it's like midnight for some of you guys, so we'll give it about 5 more minutes of questions. So any last minute questions you want to post on the chat for me to answer, you might want to do it now because we're getting close to that time. So, yes, I did hear about the passing of Volkov and Grandmaster Sexay. So, again, rest in peace, rest in power to those two, along with Brickhouse Brown. Trevor Lee's father also passed away today, who was a promoter in the Mid-Atlantic scene, so rest in peace to him as well. Let's see. Will we ever see a Suzuki Gun-like group in ACW? But who could really be as scary as Suzuki, though? I mean, come on, you want to look at the ACW roster? I think you can find some answers there. No disrespect to Suzuki, obviously. I like Omega's athleticism. I think he does need to work on the wrestling and take the business seriously if he wants to make it to the dub. I am perfectly fine with Kenny Omega not going to WWE, and I think he stated many times that he is fine being the spearhead of New Japan. And I respect a lot of wrestlers that say they don't need the WWE in order to make a career, a living, or profit in pro wrestling. I respect it so much because it tells me that they stand by their morals and they are willing to take a chance. They're willing to bet on themselves, that they don't need the machine to help them. They can do it themselves. And in wrestling in 2018, it's very possible that you don't need the WWE to make you a successful star in wrestling. Period. So I appreciate that from certain wrestlers. At least those wrestlers will actually, if they're in the WWE, they'll at least leave and they'll still do other great things. Like Juice Robinson is having one hell of a year, and he was a enhancement talent in NXT. Look at how the tides have changed over there now. Cody Rhodes, mid-carder pretty much basically throughout his entire WWE career. He goes in, and as much as he rides the coattails of the Bullet Club when he came in because his individual indie stuff wasn't working, he's made a living for himself to where he's doing the All-In event coming in September. So a lot of these wrestlers can make a lot of bets for themselves. They just got to be willing to do it and not, talk about it, but then not do it. Let's see. Had a cold. Will 2DK get a reaction based on the way their tag team match ended at Ground Zero? Honestly, I think 2DK deserves a rematch. I think they have proven themselves that they can keep up with Night Raid, that they can fight toe-to-toe with Night Raid. I think a rematch, especially banning all interference from that match, could create an interesting dynamic, is what I would say. Not saying Night Raid would lose per se, but I would say that 2DK has had the best chance out of all of the teams that Night Raid's gone through, in my opinion. Suzuki a bad mofo. That's true. Do you think WWE has too many wrestlers? They have too many wrestlers. Some wrestlers they don't even use. They just do it to hoard them from other companies like New Japan and Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling and Lucha Underground and all the other indies worldwide. That's all they use them for, and it's just annoying to me. It's even more annoying when these wrestlers know that and they still are too complacent and scared to where they're going to stay for the paycheck. Which is fine, make your money, but don't act like you're doing it for some sort of moral reason. Or do it because you care. You don't. You care about the money, and admit it as such. Yeah, I can respect their decisions if they want to go to WWE or not. I'm perfectly fine with that. Yeah, I agree. I mean, make your money. If you want to go to WWE to make your money, that's fine. I'm not ever trying to discredit anyone for that, but be honest about your intentions. Don't try to sugarcoat and lie to your fans. That's all I'm saying. Will Hiromu Takahashi return to wrestling, in your opinion? Ask me that in 1 year, and I'll give you an answer. Because I don't know. Spike Spiegel in ACW? Never say never. I mean, he was a part of the, I believe, was it the Impulse Rumble match last season? So never say never. Do you think New Japan Pro Wrestling will get some of their wrestlers back from WWE? Yeah, so let me talk about this. I'm surprised nobody asked this earlier, but so the rumor going around the circles of wrestling right now is that come September, Daniel Bryan's contract will be up. A lot of people thought that he resigned, but apparently there were a lot of sources, compete clause or whatever. After that, around January/February of next year, AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, those four will have their contracts up for debate to be renewed or not. Now, remember, those two signed with the WWE 2 years ago, to where they, let's basically call it what we see it. They basically raided New Japan's talent pool to get those four there, to hurt New Japan's efforts to expand in the United States and in North America. That's why they did it. So, here's the report, right? And here's my ultimate prediction on this. AJ Styles will stay. I mean, AJ Styles will be a fool not to. He's making the most money he's ever made in his career. He's the WWE champion, two-time WWE champion, and is the face of WWE 2K19 this year. He's staying, so I'd be shocked if he was leaving, honestly. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, that's a toss-up. They could very much stay with Balor and Styles, Maybe the WWE will offer them a deal to where they will maybe do a storyline to do a OG Bullet Club version in the WWE. That might be an incentive for them to stay. Or they may just say, fuck it, we haven't been really given the type of push or the type of support that we thought we would get because we're from New Japan. Fuck it, we'll just go back and compete in the heavyweight division / tag team division of New Japan. So that's possible. I think Shinsuke Nakamura is the most likely of the four, though, to leave. Because Shinsuke has said in interviews, even when he was signed, he said that he would ultimately go back to Japan and finish his career there. That WWE is just a checklist for him to say that he finally did it. And now that he's finally done it, he won the Royal Rumble, he went and wrestled at a WrestleMania, he's traveled all over the world, he's wrestled some of the best in the world, and if they're not going to give him the WWE title or any world title, then then it's like, what's there for him to do at that point other than to get money? So I think Nakamura, if out of the four, he'll be the one most likely to leave. Does he actually leave? I don't know if it'll be next year, but I would not be surprised if he did. So Daniel Bryan, I think he's leaving. I think Daniel Bryan wants to wrestle in New Japan. And I think he wants to wrestle in New Japan for one strong final run before he calls his career completely done. Styles will stay. Anderson and Gallows is either way 50-50, but I'll just predict that they stay just to be safe. And I think Nakamura goes. That's my prediction. In all likelihood, all five of them stay. That's pretty much likely too, but if I had to guess, that would be my guess. Period. Do you think CM Punk will show up at a Ring of Honor or New Japan Pro Wrestling show? I think CM Punk's done with wrestling, period, man. I think his experiences with WWE and then the court case and then the UFC thing, I think he's just done. I think he has no more passion for pro wrestling. That even if he did come back, even if he did come to do a Ring of Honor show, or if for some wild reason came back to WWE, I don't think the passion would be there anymore. It would simply be for a money grab. And it's like, well, if there's no long-term benefit of Punk doing anything for Ring of Honor or Impact or even WWE, then why? I don't know. I think he's just done. If he comes back, it'll be for a special reason. So, what are ACW's plans for Queens of Wrestling this year? I don't think I can spoil anything here in the newscast, but I've got some ideas. But once we get close to the date, we'll figure that out. Kenshiro as an ACW wrestler, well, he's an ACW Hall of Famer, so I don't know if he'll necessarily wrestle. Thoughts on Badalaka being in the Glamour X Element tournament? Beware. I don't know. It's funny because I had Badalaka locked in for this tournament months before I figured out that she was going to be this sadistic general in DCA right now. So, great minds think alike, I guess. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Badalaka does with the Element tournament per se. Do you think Punk is done with the UFC? Punk doesn't have a choice. Dana White and the UFC are done with Punk. Let's put it that way. Punk's just not a professional fighter. I'm sorry. He's not. He's not a professional fighter. It was worth a shot. It was worth taking a risk for your dream, so to speak. But it didn't work. You lost both matches in pretty embarrassing fashion. You're 38 years old, trying to start an MMA career, fighting against these young guns. Yeah, it's done. It's done. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think the UFC already let him go. Anyways, they said the experiment was worth a shot, didn't work. Now he's gone. So There you go. Surprised you didn't see any other Rumble Roses girls in the Element tournament, like Evil Rose, since her sister works for you. Yeah, there were a lot of there were, like I said in the last newscast, or the last special newscast after the reveal of the participants, there were a lot of um, there were a lot of names and girls that were left out of this tournament that people expected to be a part of the tournament. And I understand that, but like I said back then, I was looking for a balance and I was looking for a nice compromise between what I wanted this Glamour X Element tournament to be, and that's what I ultimately came up with. So, again, this won't be the last Glamour X Element tournament, so the ones that didn't make it this year, who's to say they won't make it next year? That's all I'm saying. What anime are you watching right now? I'm watching the new Attack on Titan season, which is pretty awesome so far in my opinion. I have not read the manga, so this is all coming as a surprise to me. I'm still watching Boku no Hero. I'm following Boruto again after that great fight that Naruto and Sasuke had against that dude. I'm finally putting Boruto back into my rotation. I'm somewhat following One Piece, but damn, man, they are stretching this Big Mama arc so much, and I really don't give a fuck about this arc like that to begin with. And fuck was putting not annoying in that last episode, man. It's just, bitch, make up your mind. Either you love Sanjay or you want to see him and his friends die. Pick one, bitch. So it's getting annoying. It's starting to really wear thin with me. I finished Darling in the Franxx last week. I binged watched it and finished it. It was what it was. I'm not calling it anime of the year like others have, but for what it was supposed to be, I guess it was something. Um, Zero Two, I really did not like her as much as people thought I would, or people thought they would. I just really wasn't a fan of her whole character. Even when she eventually became more calm and nicer, I just didn't like. She came off just really, really bad to me. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know, but yeah, right now, and also I'm currently catching up with Food Wars, Shogeki no Soma. I've been slacking on the anime hard, so I'm just catching up right now. I'm on the third plate part of the show, so I need to catch up on that. But it's looking good, you know. So, you know, I mean that's where so many Kumi are from. So I mean, I gotta keep tabs on that. So, and I might watch Megalobox too. I need to watch that because my brother watched it and recommended it to me, so I need to watch it. Um, what's that one? Oh yeah, this one anime called right now Golden Kamuy. That looks interesting. I might add that into my rotation as well. Oh, there was another show though. There was another show. I'll think about it probably later. Um, Roman Reigns heel turn. Your thoughts? Doesn't matter at this point. I mean, if you're gonna do it, then do it already. If not, then stop talking about it. Not you, but the WWE and people within that company. If you're gonna do it, just do it. If not, then shut up about it. But I think a Roman Reigns heel turn or heel Roman Reigns would work though. I think Roman Reigns is a better heel than face, if you want to be honest. Which guy makes the most sense to win the G1 personally? My pick is Jay White. Yeah, I'm going to be safe and pick Jay White too. I'm not going to stray away from this G1 personally. I think Jay White's got it on the bag. Because then you can do the whole chaos storyline between Okada and Jay White for control of that. Or if Nakamura comes back, man, it'd be cool if Nakamura came back in January/February and fought Jay White for the control of chaos, man. That'd be pretty dope. Next top heel in ACW, man, I don't know. There's a lot of them. I mean, if you ask certain people, Haru Glory, I guess. I don't know where that comes from, but I guess Haru Glory, if you're asking certain people. You've got Joe Agashi, you've got, Kenkuro. I think King JJ's a possible one, too. Night Raid. There's a lot of picks. There is a lot of picks. Did you watch Digimon Try? I have not yet. Not saying I wouldn't, but I would. What are your thoughts on the anime Tenchi Muyo? I love Tenchi Muyo. I grew up on Tenchi Muyo. I mean, where do you think where do you think the JSA storyline came from? Of course, I love Tenchi Muyo. I grew up with it. That's my childhood. Tenchi in Tokyo, I could have done without, cause I did not like Sakura. I thought she was one of the worst Mary Sue characters I've ever seen in a show. And Tenchi was a real dick in that part of the Tenchi Muyo universe. So, yeah, Tenchi in Tokyo I could have done without, really, for the most part. Other than that, I love Tenchi Muyo. Yo, Kikuro's already making a huge statement. Yep, I agree. Alright, I think it's... Let me see. Yeah, I think we can end it there. It's 10 o'clock already at night. I know some of you guys it's 1 a.m. somewhere in the eastern part of this country. So, we're going to end it there. Thank you very much, everybody, for this late night edition of the newscast. I did not plan it to be this late, but them's the breaks. That is real life. Wednesday night will be the new episode of Excel, the aftermath of Ground Zero. I implore everyone to watch it. Like I said, Roger Smith will be opening the show on Excel number 87 this Wednesday night. Then on Saturday will be Impulse number 92, where it will be the finals of the Cruiserweight Tag Team Tournament between Davis and Dennis against Aaron and Ness. That will be happening. So that's going to be happening. Our next big event will be No Boundaries on August 24th. So be there for that. The next part of the Element Tournament will be the Showcase, which will be on probably August 18th, but I might be wrong on the date, or August 14th or whatever. It'll be after Excel number 89, is what I can tell you. But yeah. So you guys can expect some ACW content coming your guys' way this week as well. There'll be some ACW content for you guys, so make sure you guys tune in for that. Other than that, that'll be it for me today. So it's been a long day today, but I appreciate all of you for coming in and listening, even though I didn't even advertise it on Facebook and Twitter. Just was kind of a chill newscast I just want to do today. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you once again for joining us for the live stream of the Ground Zero Mega Event. 95 viewers maximum. I appreciate that. Let's aim for 100 by Animania 5, because that's going to be a very, very big mega event. Trust me. So, other than that, thank you all very much for this newscast. I am Hakeem Johnson, telling you all to always stay cool. Stay cool. I will see you guys later.